a lot of pain, but let me tell you, I like you a lot, babe. I wanna start at the top and the bottom, babe. Then you wanna shoot with the red at the bottom, babe. You know I like when you right at the top, babe. She wants your name.
Hey beautiful people, it is none other than Diamond Forever here, coming at you guys with a video that is just a little bit different from what you would normally see on my channel, but nonetheless I'm so excited for it, and I've had a couple of requests from you guys on this topic as well. Today's video is a book review. If you are not new to my channel, then you know that I'm a bit of a bookworm. I love getting new books, and I love when I have time to sit down and just really dive into a good book. It may take me just a little bit longer to get through them because I'm a busy girl and I don't always carve out the time to read like I want to, but I get through them. But before we get into talking about today's book, definitely leave in the comment section below. Let me know if you have ever read this book, or let me know your favorite book that you're reading right now or that you've ever read. And then of course, while you're at it, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you haven't already been subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. I would really appreciate it. Today's book is Men Don't Love Women Like You by G.L. Lambert. G.L. Lambert is known for a lot of books on dating advice or just honestly life advice, but most notably I think he is known for Hoe Tactics for sure. I know a lot of people who've read that. I haven't personally read it, but I've heard great things about Hoe Tactics. And then another notable book of his is Solving Single. If I'm not mistaken, Solving Single came before Men Don't Love Women Like You. And then the full name of Men Don't Love Women Like You is The Brutal Truth About Dating, Relationships, and How to Go from Placeholder to Game Changer. And when I tell y'all this little mini description, it don't tell no lies, it's definitely the brutal truth about dating, relationships, and how to go from placeholder to game changer. So let me just give you guys my honest review on this book, but I also did want to say that this is not going to be a discussion of the book, so I'm not going to go in depth about, like, you know, specific chapters, and, you know, we're not going to pull out excerpts of the book and all of that. If you guys are interested in something like that, definitely let me know and I can do that, but this is going to be a review which will be a little bit more on the briefer side, not a full discussion video. Even though I would love to discuss not only this book like specifically, but the topics that this book brings up. I think that'll be a great video, like a good girl chat, chit chat, you know, where we can just chit chat about some of the stuff that this book brought up. But I just want to say that I read some bad reviews on this book before purchasing it, which made me a little worried, but I really enjoyed this book. I think that the people who like the book would be the people that are not a fan of tough love. Me personally, I am a firm believer in tough love. I think sometimes you just gotta get people, like, you just gotta tell people like what it is and what it ain't, and you just can't sugarcoat some things. Now that doesn't mean you have to be super blunt and super crass all the time, but I am a proponent of tough love. Like, that's just how I feel. So I think that does kind of explain why I like the book. But in those who don't like the book, maybe I would guess that they aren't a proponent of tough love. Maybe they are opponents of tough love. I don't know. Because when the book said the brutal truth, it really was the brutal truth. Your feelings will be hurt by this book. Your feelings were hurt. When I read the first couple of chapters, I was like, dang, clutch my pearls. Like, yes, my feelings were hurt, but it wasn't like in a derogatory, it wasn't in a belittling way. I felt like, you know, someone was just trying to get me down. I felt like the purpose was to open your eyes to the mistakes that you have made or have been making, whatever the case may be, and let's show you how to not make those mistakes anymore. That's what I got out of it, and I was grateful for it, because like, once your feelings get hurt to a certain point, you're not gonna keep doing it. Like, if you just, I don't know, that's just how I feel. But I definitely feel like this book will hurt your feelings just to change your life. I feel like after reading this book, because my eyes were open to some of the harsh facts of a lot of situations, or, you know, instances that I have been in or that I could have seen myself eventually getting into, because my eyes were open to that, I feel like I don't look at things the same, or I wouldn't look at things the same moving forward. So it definitely hurt my feelings for the better, for the good of all, I definitely would say. So these are all my opinions, and just like I have my opinions, I think everyone else is allowed to have their opinions on this book and everything in life as well. But I will say that I think that I did see some comments about, like, you know, how he just was, you know, set out to degrade women and things like that. And that wasn't I didn't get that from the book, especially because there were so many instances where he would say, you are a queen, you are a prize, you are to be valued, you are to be respected. There were just so many instances of that. The beginning of the book where he talked about how you are not to move forward in this book unless you can look in the mirror and love yourself. And that was so important for me, because a lot of times we as people, not even just women, you know, we as people, we try so hard to figure out how we can move forward with others or make others happy or obtain things, people, spaces, apartments, whatever the case may be. We try so hard to obtain things without really sitting down and being happy with who we are on the inside, the outside, just spiritually, really, you know, we're not really happy with who we are. So that was so important for me to kind of be pretty much told, don't read this unless you can look in the mirror and be happy with the skin that you are in. And I love that about this book. I think that was like a really good proponent. Not only did he do that in the beginning of the book, but I think throughout the book it was just so many words of encouragement and uplifting words telling you how worthy you are, not to be treated as anything less than. I did want to say, like, this book definitely hurt my feelings, like I talked about a little bit earlier. But one of the components of the book is discussing how you can go from a placeholder to a game changer. And it was really hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I was a placeholder, and that hurt. That hurt. But once you realize that you were the placeholder, you don't want to be the placeholder again. So the book really walks you through how to never be a placeholder again, to really make sure that you are to be treated as the game changer, or you ain't even playing in the game. You're not even on the team anymore if you're not gonna be the game changer. One thing I did not enjoy about the book was, I feel like there were a lot of parts where he talked about like step 1, step 2, step 3, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I guess if you really sat down and took notes, you could like really write all of that down, and you could try to live all of that out step by step. But I feel like that was very unrealistic. Like, you're not gonna follow all the steps of that book like strictly. That's just not how life goes. And then he even said that throughout the book. He said, if you think you're just gonna follow step by step with this book and you're gonna be okay. But then it kind of was contradictory to me, because then why even have the step by step? So I don't know. That was the one thing that I did not like about the book. It was a small thing, because I had the emotional intelligence to know that, of course, you can't do exactly what someone tells you to do and think you're gonna get this exact outcome. That's just not life. That's just not the world. But I do realize that he was giving, life lessons, life tips, just ways to go about. That in no way took away from the book to me. It was just, if I had to list one caveat to the book, that would be it, which is a very small one, because like I said, it doesn't, I knew, but in case anybody thought they were going to be able to follow step by step, no. And then lastly, I did want to say that this book is not for the faint of heart. If you are not ready to hear some certain things, you're not going to want to hear it, whether it comes from him, your mama, the last man you were with. If you're not ready to hear some certain things, then it's just, you're not going to accept them into your life. That's just what it is. So this book is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the thin skin, and it's not for somebody who's not truly in the place to be able to hear those things. And so it's brutal truth. Like the cover says, brutal truth. If you're not in a place to accept the truth, then this book really isn't for you. If you're a very sensitive person, if you don't like being called out on your stuff, this book isn't for you. I would definitely say that. But ultimately, this book is about spartaning up, you got to get your Spartan on. You got to become a Spartan. And the book goes into detail about what a Spartan is and what a Spartan looks like and how she talks and how she dresses and how she walks and how she, you know, dates and how she, you know, the book goes into detail about who and what a Spartan is. Definitely gives you some tasks on how to obtain Spartanhood. And we all trying to get to Spartanhood. And I think with this book, I definitely am well on my way to Spartanhood. Just overall really enjoyed the book. And I definitely will read it again. You know, there's nothing like reading a book over again and then seeing things that you didn't even pick up on before. That's an amazing feeling. So maybe I will definitely read this book again. I'm curious if you have read this book. What are your thoughts on the book? Definitely leave them in the comment section below. If you have read any of G.L. Lambert's other books, do you recommend any of them to me? I've heard good things, but I want to know any books that you recommend. And then lastly, let me know if there are any other books that you want me to read and then give you a review on this channel, because I can definitely do that. I'm always looking for a new book to read. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is content that's a little bit different from me, but it is content that I am still passionate about and I do enjoy, and so I did want to share it with you guys. Also, you guys, I do apologize if you were coming to this video looking for like discussion on this book. I can do that. It just wasn't what this video was set out for. But if you are interested in that, please let me know in the comment section below and I will do my best to deliver. But without further ado, if you made it to the end of this video, what are we going to leave in the comment section below today? What are we going to do? If you made it to the end of this video, put Spartan in the comment section below. Spartan, S-P-A-R-T-A-N. Also, go ahead and follow me on Instagram to keep up with what other books I'm reading, what candle I'm burning at the time, just random things about me. You can definitely keep up with me a little bit more on Instagram. Also, if you've made it this far and you enjoyed this content and you want to see other things from me, definitely hit the subscribe button. And y'all know if you like this video as well, it really does help my channel. So I would appreciate it if you could do that for me. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.
You know I like when you ride